Football guys talking basketball. They lost to Kansas again.
Mm-hmm.
7 in a row.
Is that right?
It's been a long time. It's been a
Been a long
while.
time.
Been a while.
Been a while.
Sooners lose to Kansas 67-57 now. Porter Moser's group did not. They didn't have Suarez. They didn't have Hughley. Kansas got McCullough back. And Hunter Dickinson looked decently healthy, was moving well. He just killed him. 20 and 16 for Dickinson. You look at Hughley would have been able to match up a little better, just another body to make things difficult on Dickinson, even though that he got after OU in their first matchup pretty good. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm just trying to make excuses. But Suarez, he has been their best player in conference play. So to not have him was a big blow, but things look good in the first half, Ted. Look
Yeah.
good, but it really felt like that game shifted a little bit in the last 4 minutes of the first half, where it felt like OU was playing really, really well. They were up by 10 and just could not close the half strong. And Kansas made some defensive adjustments in the second half with what they were doing on some of the ball screen stuff. And the Sooners just, oh man, they struggled in the second half to score the basketball. My goodness.
Yeah. Well, you had that one, oh gosh, what was the score? You're right around the 4 or 5 minute mark in the second half, and Kansas just goes on this little tear where you're right there, you're within range, game's fairly tight, and then we miss a wide open jumper. Kansas grabs the rebound, goes down, gets an easy look, come back, miss another wide open three. Kansas goes down. I think they got an and one or something. Come back down, miss a wide open jumper, long rebound. Kansas goes down, score, and the game's over. In like 3 trips up and down the floor, you strike out on some threes, which you hit in the first half, right? Which gave you the lead and had you where you're feeling good about it with your confidence, and then it just so happened that they went on that little run and we could not hit the wide open looks. And I mean, I know there was a lot more that happened throughout the game, but that was kind of just like in the Baylor game. We had that good competition and then that little swing there before half, and it totally changed the entire game. And that's unfortunately we've been susceptible to some of those this year.
It was a tie game with 9.5 minutes to go in the game.
Yep.
46 all. And Kansas just completely dominated the game down the stretch. And yeah, it's disappointing. Would it have been, could OU have won that game if Soares and Hughley weren't hurt? I don't know. But if you shoot 4 of 22 in the second half against anyone, you're probably going to lose. 1 of 11 from 3 in the second half. It's just with the way that it started, scoring 57 points at home.
Yeah.
It's rough. It hurts. It's not fun. I was not having a good time. I was watching it at a bar in Atlanta. They had draft Guinness. I said, bartender, more, please. I need it. But I'm trying to look at the positives from this game. I continue to like what I see from Jalen Moore. The energy, the attitude, the confidence. He was really good in the first half. I wish he would have hit some more shots in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Javion McCollum, it felt like he had that swag back in the first half and then kind of just disappeared. Had some bad turnovers that led to easy buckets for Kansas. I'm just trying to, I don't want, it feels like a lot of people are just giving up on this team, and I don't want that to happen. But as I sat and thought about it, I was like, what are the positive takeaways from this game?
Yeah,
The first
it's
half, I guess, is
first
the
half.
answer.
I think it's interesting whenever we had Coach Moser on the other day. One of the things that he was talking about that he thought they'd be better at or were better early and have lost a little bit is just straight up shooting the basketball. It's you got to make shots, and whenever you're getting wide open looks at three, you got to make them. You got to make a decent percentage of them. When you got wide open mid-range jumpers, you got to be able to knock them down. When you got little, offensive rebounds, you got an opportunity to put a little layup back. You got to make it. And we, for whatever reason, it's not like the guys aren't capable. It's like somehow they've developed a mental block on the wide open jumpers. And I know it's a big confidence sport. Whenever you're rolling, you got momentum and you trust your shot. You feel good about it. But right now they haven't shot it great in a while.
I think Owe is really struggling with his confidence when it comes to shooting the ball. He's developed a pretty noticeable bad hitch in his release. It just doesn't, he doesn't look comfortable. It doesn't look confident. Anytime he shoots the ball, I don't think it's going in just because of how it looks.
Yeah.
And they needed him to make a jump, right? With how encouraged we were by his athleticism, what he did last year. And it has not come in conference play for Otega Owe at all. It's unfortunate, man. I was hoping he'd be a guy that would be a huge contributor to this team, but offensively, especially, it's not coming together for him.
No. And unfortunately, we're going on the road to Oklahoma State, so that's a rivalry game. You're going to get Oklahoma State's best game of the entire year, right? And it's not going to get easy at all. Like, there are no get right games the rest of the way for Oklahoma. So I wish that you had like a little buffer before you enter tournament play. And, I would say that their work's not done to make the tournament. And, it may come down to that road game at Texas, the last game of the season, to that may be a play-in game for Oklahoma and Texas to see who makes the tournament.
That would be quite dramatic. But they get this week off, so hopefully they've got no game on Tuesday or Wednesday this week.
Get
so
healthy.
Hopefully they can get Suarez back, then get Hughley
He's
back.
been good, man. He's been a real bright spot
on both ends of the floor too. I mean, he's been really strong for him in Big 12 play, but need those guys back on the floor. Got to go win Bedlam round 2. Oklahoma State is not a good basketball team. I know that Stillwater is now, it's not what it used to be when you talk about going and playing in Gallagher Iba, but I'm sure that the crowd will be going for that one.
Yep. That's right. Not going to be easy. You got to get it. I think we're 18 wins right now.
18-8.
18-8. Usually the magic number is going to be around 20 to make the tournament. I still think they're a tournament team. I still think they're going to get to 20 wins, but it's going to be tough down the stretch.
Only other thought I have on that game, I really like Johnny Furphy. He's good. What do you have, 15 and 9? If he sticks around, and I don't know how long he's planning on being there, so the guy can play, he's got a chance to be an all-time hated Jayhawk.
Yeah.
He really does. Just everything about him, the haircut, the way he plays, the guy can ball. He's got serious hate potential. But yeah. I just don't know how many years he's going to stick around. He may be a one and done guy for all I know. I haven't really checked in on his, kind of where his draft status, where his draft stock is at. But He
Yeah.
sure hurt the Sooners on Saturday. My goodness.
It's one of those, it feels like Kansas does this pretty often where they just kind of float around. They don't look like they're any real threat. I mean, they're good, but don't look like a real threat to go on a run in the tournament. And then right the last couple weeks of the season, they start to look like a totally different basketball team. And I wonder if this year's going to be the same.
We'll see. But Sooners got to bounce back. Got a full week to heal up, and then a big one in Stillwater next Saturday. Talk a little Thunder. NBA All-Star Weekend. Congratulations, a formal congratulations to Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams on their Rising Stars championship with Team Jalen. How about that? It was even named. It wasn't named after Jalen Williams, but hey, his name is Jalen. His name is Jalen, and he was on Team Jalen. So you knew he was going to do something important. And J-Dub ends up hitting the three to win the whole thing, which was really, really cool. But that really all that matters. I'm glad that they got that recognition. I think everyone is acknowledging how exciting those two guys are as players, like even separate from what Shai is doing. There's a lot of talk about how exciting the future is for the Thunder with those three guys. But all that matters is that they got out of there healthy. That's all I care about. They didn't land on anyone's foot. Chet went up for a couple of those lobs and he threw him down. And I'm cheering. I'm like, no one get near him. Get away. So
I know it.
And you throw Cason Wallace in there too. He comes out clean. So that's all I was worried about watching that. I was like, great guys, do an awesome job. Please don't roll an ankle or do something.
Same feeling. So I'm in Dallas down here watching my niece play soccer, and she was in one of these big. It's basically an all-star game for this nationwide club thing, whatever. But the whole time watching the game, it's all I can think about is like, careful, don't, and I'm nervous watching her play. She's coming to OU, so that's going to be awesome. Thrilled about that. But gosh, watching her play I'm over there trying to act normal, but it's all I'm thinking about. It's the same thing whenever, you're watching your all-stars in the all-star game. It's like, can we please not injure our best player in an all-star game that is meaningless? Please, can that not happen?
We are recording this before the actual all-star game is played, and I'm sure Shai is going to do some great things. I do think it would be hilarious if he just plays his normal game and he just randomly gets to his spots around the elbow and is just shooting mid-range jumpers the entire game, just killing them with his mid-range game. I think that would be hilarious.
Alley-oops, no running the floor, and
doesn't leave the ground once. Duck. Just mid-range only.
Go hit the bank from the wing. Yeah, that's awesome. That would be funny.
His style, when you think about all the star players in the NBA, maybe Jokic is probably number one in this conversation, but a guy you're not worried about him doing something in an all-star game where he could end up getting hurt. I feel like that list starts with Jokic, and then Shai is probably next on that list. Like Giannis is going to be flying through the air, doing something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Shai's thing. We're good.
Bring the old man game to the all-star game. Let the young bucks go fly around out there and dazzle everyone. Yeah, that's true. He'll be fine. He'll do his thing tonight, and everyone, for the most part, is probably going to walk away talking about him like always. So, very cool.
Hopefully, he hits 17 mid-range jumpers and wins MVP.
There you go.
And never leaves the ground. Ground-bound attack.